On October 28th, 2019, a single YouTube video was uploaded to Viziepop's channel. It was a pilot to a show that she hoped would eventually be picked up into a full-fledged series. That show was Hazbin Hotel. Hazbin Hotel has kind of built a reputation off of being a bad show. The general opinion that most people have behind this show is that it's poorly written and it's mostly meant for people that act like this.
It's snowing.
I've always known about Hazbin Hotel. I've had a couple friends that watched it. Some hated it and some liked it, but I personally never had an opinion on it. I always thought it was weird Tumblr cringe that I clearly wasn't the target audience for. So why am I here now? Honestly, I don't really know. You could call it morbid curiosity, but in this video, I'm going to give a genuine review of Hazbin Hotel. This isn't coming from someone that hates the show, and it's not coming from someone who's a fan either. I actually just have no opinion on it. As of writing this, I have not watched the show, so I should probably go do that, shouldn't I?
That's what the fuck I've been saying. If hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie.
Emily.
If angels can do whatever and remain in the sky, the rules are shades of gray when you don't do as you say when you make.
All right. Okay, I didn't hate the show. I guess? I don't really know, but I didn't really like it either. After finishing both seasons, I left feeling kind of conflicted. There are aspects of Hazbin Hotel that I like, and there are aspects that I really didn't. I'm writing this 2 days after finishing the show, and I'm just kind of confused. It's so hard to write about this show because it feels like I wasn't watching something that was meant for TV. It felt like I just watched what was going on inside of Viziepop's brain. Like, yes, there is technically a plot and a story, but the show feels like I'm just watching an ADHD-ridden kid smashing action figures together and making it up as they go. It doesn't feel planned out. I think Viziepop had an interesting idea, but I don't think she knew how to execute it properly. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to break down the show piece by piece, so let's start with my least favorite part of the Hazbin Hotel.
Go ahead and try to hit me if you're able.
Going into the show, I didn't expect it to be a musical, but every single episode has about 2 songs in them. A lot of them try to do the Steven Universe thing, where instead of characters talking about how they feel, they sing about it. I don't like musicals, but I can appreciate a good song. Stronger Than You from Steven Universe is a genuine banger, and there are moments in some of my favorite movies where they break into song and it works pretty well. But before I go further, I want to be clear about something. Even though I didn't like most of the music in Hazbin Hotel, music is completely subjective. I mostly listen to Tyler the Creator and anime openings, so take my opinion however you want. If you like the songs, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That being said, out of all the music in Hazbin Hotel, there are only 2 songs that I actually liked, and both of them were sung by Keith David. I didn't like any of the other music that the show had to offer. Most of the songs sounded the exact same to me. And even in the songs I did enjoy, there were moments in the songs that completely ruined it. For example, Loser Baby is a song I actually liked, and it was pretty groovy. But then, randomly, Angel Dust decides to jump in and talk about sex.
I got an appetite for gambling.
I got an appetite for sampling every drug and sex toy I can find.
Go ahead, baby, sing that song. Shut the fuck up.
I got no heart.
I get that's part of his character, but I don't like hearing it, and it kind of ruined a pretty groovy song. He's been saying this exact same stuff the entire show. Why did he have to interrupt a perfectly good song? Once I reached the 2nd season, it got to the point where anytime I saw a character singing, I would usually just skip it. I didn't care about the message that was behind the song, because most of the time it was just, through the power of friendship we can do this, or something like, I'm so conflicted, who am I? And it's just not my thing.
It starts with
One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try.
If you like the music, that's totally fine, there's nothing wrong with that, but I didn't. So how about we just move on?
Shh, it's starting.
Welcome to the Hazbin Hotel.
He's a rocket and he's ready to go, 'cause on the countdown.
Hazbin Hotel's story is incredibly convoluted. For some reason, most of the pilot that you watched on YouTube isn't actually canon, but some of it is. So you have to watch it and just kind of guess. So here's the basic setup of the show. Due to overpopulation and the fear that hell might eventually rise up against heaven, an army of angel exorcists descend onto hell once a year and kill sinners indiscriminately. Angels are pretty much invincible, so sinners can't fight back. Charlie, who is the princess of hell, decides instead of fighting the angels, she wants to redeem sinners to help them get into heaven. The problem is, nobody cares about being redeemed. Most sinners actually enjoy being in hell, even with the yearly exterminations. Then out of nowhere, a demon by the name of Alistair shows up, who is an infamous overlord who seemingly appeared overnight and is one of the strongest beings in hell. He offers to help Charlie in her mission for no other reason than entertainment. And with both Charlie and Alistair working together along with some friends, the Hazbin Hotel is officially open and ready to take on any sinner. This is obviously a really SparkNotes level summary of the entire show, but that's all you kind of need to know before getting into it. I don't want this video to turn into a plot dissection discussing everything I didn't like about the show because there's just way too much there and I don't really want to do that. So here on out, I'm going to go into some spoiler territory, talk about things that I liked and things I really didn't like about the show.
All right then. Looks like you could use some help.
Elephant green screen effect.
Alistair is a really cool character, even if he is kind of baby's first Tumblr OC type. I really like his character design, and his powers are really interesting. I also like the idea that before he even died, he made this deal to become the most powerful sinner in hell, fully knowing that's where he was going to end up. It's actually a pretty cool concept. The buildup of Vox as a villain is also really cool. The idea that he's basically just a CEO who's addicted to power works really well, especially as a parallel to stuff that's going on in the real world. I don't agree how his character ended, but I'll absolutely acknowledge that the concept itself is strong, and that he works really well as sort of an opposite to Alistair. The fact that Lucifer can't physically harm any sinner in hell is another concept that I actually like. It's kind of his punishment. He has to rule over hell, but he can't do anything about it. Yes, he is incredibly powerful, and he's probably the strongest character in the show, but his powers are practically useless. And that doesn't even ruin his character because no one really wants to hurt him anyway, so he just kind of chills all day and likes rubber ducks. For some reason, I do like his character. The animation is also top-notch. Somehow the animators made some of the least animation-friendly characters look good and moving around. These characters are overly designed and yet they made it work, most of the time. I know most things I mentioned that I liked about Hazbin Hotel revolve around characters, and I'm sorry about that, but truthfully, I don't really like Hazbin Hotel's story. The characters and their backstories are the only real highlight to me, so let's just move on to stuff I didn't like.
It starts with sorry.
Hazbin Hotel has the plot of an episodic show that's all about redeeming sinners and sending them to heaven, but that's not what the show is about. Instead of focusing on the actual hotel, which is literally the name of the show, we spend most of the time focusing on everything around it. The hotel was created for a solution to a problem, and yet it's barely used for anything other than being a place characters can stand around and talk. For being the fucking name of the show, the Hazbin Hotel barely matters. Though the fights in the show are beautiful, the animation goes absolutely crazy, there is a huge problem that has been bothering me the entire time I watched this show. I have no idea how strong anyone is. I know power scaling is fucking dumb, but when Alistair is advertised as one of the most powerful sinners in hell, you expect him to kick ass. And yet, he doesn't win a single fight that matters. Later on, the show established that only holy weapons can kill angels, except when they don't, because there are multiple scenes where guns, bombs, and even rocks kill angels. None of it makes any sense. There's no consistency, there's no clear rules, and there's no continuity when it comes to strength and weaknesses. We don't know how strong Charlie is. We don't know how strong Lucifer really is. We only see brief glimpses, and for some reason, Lucifer never does anything cool. He only just turns into animals in one fight. We need to know what the characters can do, what they can't do, and what are their limits, and the show just never tells us. Now, let's talk about some writing for a bit. There have been thousands of memes clowning on this show for its dialogue, saying that every other word that is said is a curse word, and Viziepop is a terrible writer. And while it's an obvious exaggeration, A lot of the criticism is valid. The writing is really bad. Yes, there is a ton of curse words, but honestly, after the 100th fuck, your brain just kind of filters it out. This is a bad thing, but it doesn't completely destroy the show. Personally, I think swearing works best when it's used sparingly. If a character doesn't curse that much and then suddenly drops a curse word, it adds weight to what they're actually saying. I feel like this comparison's been done a lot, but let's compare this show to Smiling Friends. Smiling Friends is an adult show and it has adult themes and adult humor, but it doesn't rely on heavy cursing. So when a character does swear, it really stands out and often makes the joke hit harder. But in Hazbin Hotel, the characters are cursing constantly. And because of that, it often feels like they're swearing just to remind you that this is an adult show. To me, it's not super distracting, but it does feel like Viziepop had the structure of a teen-focused comedy and tried to make it seem more adult by adding a bunch of curse words. Hazbin Hotel is not the worst show I've ever seen. This show has an incredibly big hater base. It's not a great show, but it's not the worst thing ever like people are saying on the internet. I'm tired of seeing videos with titles like Hazbin Hotel has the worst writing ever, because that's not true. You can't say that when things like the Emoji Movie exist or the Avatar live action movie. A lot of these videos are being made purely to ride the hate train of the show and to hate on Viziepop. I should really talk about you, shouldn't I? I've mentioned this person a lot in this video, and I want to go into a little detail on who she is and why she's so hated. Viziepop is an animator and artist who has been on the internet for a very long time. From what I know, the first thing that really gained traction towards her is a webcomic by the name of Zoophobia. I'm going to be honest here, I'm never going to read this thing. Even while writing this video and doing research, I don't want to read Zoophobia. I'm not a furry and it doesn't appeal to me, but the comic had some mild success and it spawned a fan base for Viziepop. I don't think you care about Viziepop's backstory, and I don't think you're here to watch me talk about that, but Viziepop has a massive hater base. Some people don't like her for very valid reasons, and there are some allegations thrown her way, and I don't want to dig too deep on that because this is a video about Hazbin Hotel and not Viziepop, but you know, she created it. Whatever, I don't want to talk about drama with her, but a lot of these memes and criticisms that are thrown her way are literally made because they just don't like her.
Why do you think that is? That's a good one. Well, I mean, I think everyone's hot. I'm just like, I want everyone to be hot.
Most criticisms thrown her way are just straight up lies, or people saying that she's a grown woman that acts like a child. And I'm not defending anything she's ever done, but the criticisms towards the show seem to just be criticisms towards Viziepop. But being honest, the biggest criticism you can throw at her is she's a LOL random millennial who isn't the best writer. I don't know everything that Viziepop has done that's bad or good, but as long as you're not like a pedophile or a murderer, I don't really care about your internet drama. But a lot of people do care. But let's be very honest right here. Viziepop is one of the first indie animation success stories. She's helped pave the way for some of the best indie animation that's come out since then. The fact that an animated series that originated on YouTube became one of the most streamed things on Amazon Prime of all time is genuinely insane. Without Viziepop or Hazbin Hotel, you wouldn't have things like The Amazing Digital Circus, and most likely you wouldn't have Smiling Friends. So what are my actual thoughts on Hazbin Hotel? I don't know. I'm being so honest, I don't know what I feel about this show. I didn't like the show, and if there ever was a third season, I would never watch it. But I don't care about the story, and I didn't care about the characters. But I understand why people do. I don't think people who watch the show should be shamed. There were moments watching the show where I would go, oh, I actually laughed.
Nifty! I told you to watch over the hotel. What have you been doing the whole time?
Yeah. Baxter fixed them. Now they have fingers and lungs so they can play instruments.
Oh, that's kind of impressive, actually.
And that's why this show confuses me so much. I am too neutral on it. Even after watching it, I hated so much about it. But at the end of the day, I don't care about Hazbin Hotel. I wanted to hate the show, or I wanted to randomly show up and be like, hey, it's actually pretty good. But I'm just conflicted. I can't give an opinion on it. If you really want to know, I don't recommend Hazbin Hotel, but if it seems like something you want to watch, go for it. It has really shitty writing, and dumb character designs, and the characters are kind of flat, but it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. If the show seems appealing to you, go watch it. And if it doesn't, go watch something else. There's no point in making a 20-minute video just talking about how bad a TV show is when it's clearly not meant for you. But if there's one thing you should take away from this video, it should be this. Maybe you should watch Hazbin Hotel, because Zach Hadel is in one episode, and that makes absolutely everything worth it.